2,000 years ago, in a small town called Bethlehem, there lived two very different innkeepers who ran two very different inns. They were Mrs. In.
Hi.
And Mr. Out. Brr. This is their story. It was yet another hot, humid, high noon in the baking heat of Bethlehem town. Despite the searing conditions, good old Mrs. In had been up since the crack of dawn, keeping herself ever so busy. She'd cooked the guest breakfast, scrubbed the kitchen, washed the linen, cleaned the rooms, mopped the floors, and polished the sign outside her lovely inn. Meanwhile, Mr. Out had just got up. You see, Mr. Out was incredibly lazy. The unfortunate guests in Mr. Out's overpriced inn had to make their own breakfast before vacating their dirty, smelly rooms, which hadn't been cleaned in years. Yuck.
Good morning, Mrs. In. Good afternoon, Mr. Out.
Just then, two important people from Bethlehem's town council appeared. They had come to visit the two innkeepers and had brought a letter which contained some worrying news for them.
Dear Mrs. In and Mr. Out, we regret to inform you that Bethlehem's town council has decided to demolish one of your inns to make a way for a new multi-story common car. So, to decide which of your inns remains open and which remains closed, there will be a competition. The innkeeper who makes the most money by the next week will be crowned the winner and will be allowed to have their inn still be open. Meanwhile, the innkeeper who makes the least amount of money will have their inn knocked down. I am Miss In. In my incredible inn, Miss In's inn will indeed be the inn that wins. What a tongue twister. Try saying that without your teeth in.
That's outrageous. I'm Mr. Out, and I have no doubt that by standing in Mr. Out's inn will indeed be the end that wins. That's a bit of a tongue twister too, try saying that backwards.
That backwards.
Let the competition begin! When
Who will win this contest? Who will win this prize? Who will make so much money you won't believe your eyes? Who gets to stay open? Who call it a day? Who be crying boo-hoo-hoo? And who will shout hooray?
Will it be in or out we out, or out we in and in we out? We do not know, but we have no doubt. We'll find out soon enough. Will it be in or out we out, or out we in and in we out? We do not know, but we have no doubt. We'll find out soon enough.
In this competition, I'll try to beat the rest. I'll charge a fair and honest price with service at its best. In this competition, I'll think and lie and scheme. I will win no matter what. I love to be so mean.
Will it be in or out we out, or out we in and in we out? We do not know, but we have no doubt. We'll find out soon enough. Will it be in or out we out, or out we in and in we out? We do not know, but we have no doubt. We'll find out soon enough. Will it be in or out we out, or out we in and in we out? We do not know, but we have no doubt. We'll find out soon enough.
So, Mrs. N, your inn will soon be demolished to make way for a multi-story camel park. I bet that story has really given you the humps.
Whatever will be, Mr. Out. I'm trying to stay positive, and if you want to make camel jokes, what do you call a frozen camel?
I don't know, what do you call a frozen camel?
Lost.
Then, as if that wasn't excitement for one day, a Roman soldier arrived and read out yet another important announcement.
By order of the Roman Empire, there is to be a census throughout the whole land. Everyone must go back to the town where they were born to be counted.
Mrs. In and Mr. Out were happy with this news because it meant that their inns would quickly be full of visitors. Sure enough, very soon both inns were full to overflowing. But there was a problem. Kind Mrs. In had been charging very low prices for her beautiful, clean, and spacious rooms. As a result, Mrs. In's inn was full of delighted guests, but she hadn't made much money at all.
At least I'll get great reviews on TripAdvisor.
Meanwhile, dishonest Mr. Out had been charging extortionate prices for tiny, filthy, stinky rooms. Mr. Out's inn was crammed full of very unhappy guests, but Mr. Out had made an absolute fortune.
So much money for me. I'm feeling so greedy. This competition is too easy.
This meant that the scheming Mr. Out would probably win the contest.
Oh, yeah. I'm Mr. Out and I'm the winner. Your miss isn't just a beginner. I am the very best. I've no room for the rest. I'm Mr. Out and I love boasting. I've given misses in a roasting. I have as good as one. I am the number one. I'm Mr. Out, the winner. Knock knock. Who's there? Innkeeper. Innkeeper who? The innkeeper who's already won this competition. You have no chance now, so you might as well give up.
Poor Mrs. In felt extremely upset. She adored her lovely inn, and she didn't want to see it demolished. But there didn't seem to be any way she could now make enough money in time to win the competition. All she could do was pray.
you can give to me. Please, God, help me. Please, God, help me. Please, God, help me. Help me.
At that moment, a man called Joseph came along the road with his pregnant wife Mary. They traveled a huge distance from a town called Nazareth. They are incredibly tired and desperate for a place to stay.
I tell you what, I can't wait until this baby's born. I'm so uncomfortable.
In or out?
Well, out of course. I want the baby out ASAP. My back's killing me.
No, not the baby. I mean which in? Mrs. In's in or Mr. Out's in? In or out?
Well, I really don't care. As long as we're inside, not outside, I can lay down with my feet up. Then tomorrow you can go and sort the census on this out.
Fair enough. Well, Mrs. In seems interesting, but Mr. Out's seems outstanding. So I think we'll try getting Out's in first.
Sorry, can you say that again?
Absolutely not.
No, 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 no. There's no room in the inn. Sorry, sorry. We're all full within. No, 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 no. There's no room in the inn. Sorry, sorry. But there may be some room in my stable after all. It's only a stable. I hope it will be. It's only a stable, and it's free of charge to you. It's only a stable. I hope it will be. It's only a stable, and may your God bless you.
It was cold and dark, but it soon became the birthplace of the King. Mary's baby boy was born on that special night. They laid him in an manger and called him Jesus Christ. It's only a stable, but a stable will do. It's only a stable, and may your God bless you. It's only a stable, but a stable will do. It's only a stable, and may your God bless you.
And may your God bless you. What a beautiful baby. You must both be over the moon.
Definitely, we're both very thankful for our baby Jesus, and we're very thankful for you, Mrs. In.
Yes, Mrs. And we're very thankful for you. It's really no problem. problem at all. I'm just sorry that you had ended up in my stable and that every room in my inn was already full to overflowing.
But it's such a cozy stable, honestly. We're ever so grateful.
Are you sure we can't offer any money for our stay?
Nonsense. There's no way I could charge such a lovely young couple with a newborn baby any money at all. And certainly not for staying in a stable.
In fact, Mrs. N often let her stable and spare rooms up for free if people were in great need. Mrs. N hated to see anyone going hungry or homeless and would always do anything she could to help. So Mary and Joseph happily stayed in Mrs. N's homely stable. Mrs. N waited on them hand and foot, making sure they had everything they needed for a comfy stay. The only thing missing was a cot for the newborn baby Jesus. So Mary and Joseph wrapped him snugly in cloth and placed him in the animal's manger. Jesus looked very comfortable nestled in the hay, and he slept all through the night. Meanwhile, on the hills nearby, some lovely shepherds were lazing around a campfire, watching over their sheep. It was late, and they were starting to drift off, when suddenly a blinding light filled the dark night sky, and an angel appeared. Then a choir of angels appeared, and together they exclaimed, As the angels flew back to heaven, the shepherds immediately headed off to Bethlehem to find the baby Jesus.
Wow, that's amazing. Who are you? What do you do?
I'm shepherd one. I'm a shepherd.
Marvelous. And what does the shepherd do?
I heard sheep.
Thank you, that's so cute. Tell me, how many sheep does it take to knit a jumper?
The lovely shepherds also brought a baby lamb as a gift for Mrs. N because he looked after Mary, Joseph, and Jesus so well, showing them all such amazing kindness. Mrs. N was enormously grateful. She put on a happy, brave face, yet underneath she couldn't help but feel utterly miserable. The problem was that the competition deadline was looming, and Mrs. N still didn't have enough money to win. What on earth could Mrs. N now do to stop her precious N from being knocked down? Under her breath, she kept praying, "Please God, help me," over and over again. Just then, baby Jesus had one more set of special visitors.
We have traveled for months, over hundreds of miles, following a special star.
We knew that the appearance of the bright new star could only mean one thing, the birth of a newborn king.
The stars finally stopped here over at this stable. So we have brought gifts of gold, frankincense, myrrh.
So that's why we're here. Can you tell us your name?
Our baby is called Jesus. This is my wife Mary. My name is Joseph, but you can call me Joe.
Well, my name is Joe as well.
You must be Joe King.
Yes, that's right. This is Joe King. How did you guess?
My name is Lou King.
So Lou King has been looking for a baby? That's so funny.
My name is Lee. I'm Lee King.
You're not Lee King. That pillow's already there.
Anyways, after months of traveling, we are totally exhausted. We really need to find a hotel where we can stay for several months. Does anyone know of a good place we can stay?
You're in luck. This is the stable of Mrs. N's Inn. I'm sure she has some room to spare. It's truly a fabulous room with exceptional service.
Yes, Miss Ann is so warm and inviting. Even though she let us stay in her stable, she waited on us hand and foot. You must stay here.
Thank you so much for the kind words, Mary and Joseph. Mr. King, and Mr. King, you're all welcome to stay for however long you need. My inn is virtually empty now. It's only 1 silver coin per room per night.
Just 1 silver coin? What nonsense! We'll have to pay you much more based on the excellent news you've been given.
Agreed, and we have a whole army of servants outside, so we'll need rooms for them as well.
We'll need some sales space for all our camels. And we insist on paying Mary and Joseph's bill as well.
And we plan on staying for about a month, and we insist on paying for everything in advance. So, how does 100 bags of gold coins sound? That sounds incredible. You don't know what Nancy this is.
This huge deal for Mrs. N meant that suddenly Mrs. N was very rich and very in business. Mrs. N was the winner! Over the next month, things changed a lot in Bethlehem. Mr. Rout's inn was knocked down and a new multi-story camel park was built in its place. The sign outside read, "Mind the humps." What's more, with the extra money that the three kings had given to Mrs. N, she was able to transform her little inn into a huge luxury hotel. But Mrs. N always kept free rooms and stables available for anyone who was homeless or hungry.
Everyone is welcome at Miss N's world famous luxury inn. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor or if you have no money at all. If you're in need of a roof over your head for 1 night or 100, you're always welcome.
Miss N, do you have any room for me? I'm ever so sorry for being such a foolish person. Can you forgive me?
Mr. Al, my friend, of course I can forgive you. You're welcome to stay for however long you want.
So finally, we've come to the end of our play. We hope you enjoyed our performance today. But before we sing our last song through, we want to share an important lesson with you. The moral of our story, we hope you can see, is that it's not nice to be selfish, mean, and greedy. Instead, live a life full of kindness and care. Like Mrs. N, be charitable, help, and share. Let's start this Christmas as we need to carry on by sharing love and friendship with everyone. And now, there's one last message for you to hear from all of us.